I'm J. Lenora Bressler. Welcome to the February 28th, 2017 edition of The Bible, Delight in the Details. Let's talk politics. Establishment versus extremists. It sounds like something ripped from the headlines of 2017, but it's not. It's the politics that Jesus had to deal with in his day, roughly 30 AD. So let's talk about it today and tomorrow. There are two religious groups, which really are better understood as political groups, that Jesus interacted with most frequently. The Gospels, all four of them, are full of his interactions with the Sadducees and the Pharisees. When you understand better the agenda and the characteristics of these two groups, his interactions with them come alive in such a dynamic way. You know, it's always so ironic to me that skeptics and cynics like to say that the Bible isn't relevant to modern times. And it's just so ridiculous, because it is. These issues that Christ was dealing with are being dealt with right now in Washington, D.C. And the common people and their view of the establishment and what they view as extremist on both sides is exactly the same kind of thoughts and concerns that the people in Jesus's day had. So let's talk about it. We'll start today with the Sadducees. The Sadducees were the establishment. They were the ruling party. They had the majority in the Sanhedrin, which was the you might say the legislative as well as the judicial body of ancient Israel. And they came from wealth. They were the wealthy establishment. They were dynastic families there. Yes. People who had been in power for generation after generation. They primarily were descended from the Levites, which traced their ancestry back to the high priest Aaron, brother of Moses. And because of that, they felt, some of them I'm sure quite genuinely, a deep commitment and responsibility. They felt that they were the bulwark of Israel. They were the ones who had to keep things the way they had always been, and because otherwise it would diminish the state of Israel, particularly with so many invasions and now being a vassal state, first of Syria and then Egypt and then Syria again, and now during the time of Christ, of course, Rome. Now, these folks, because they had been in power so long, because they were wealthy, they were very disconnected to the common people. And the common people did not like them because of that, because they felt very elite. They had a very much an elitist mentality. Now, there were other issues about them. Because they were trying to be very correct to tradition, they did not give credence to anything other than the Pentateuch. These are the first five books of the Old Testament written by Moses. So they did not give credence to the prophets or the books of history, Psalms, etc. They focus solely on the Pentateuch. Now you say, well, what's the deal about that? Well, the Pentateuch was not primarily focused on the afterlife. It just didn't talk about that. But because they wouldn't look at these other books which did talk about the afterlife, the Sadducees did not believe in an afterlife, resurrection, or angels, things which are taught in other parts of the Old Testament. Because of this, they were very sad, you see. Get it, Sadducee? It's an old joke. But it's true, because they could offer no hope, really, to the people. So not only were they establishment who acted very entitled, but they also could offer no good news, absolutely nothing positive and optimistic to the people. So there was a very great disconnect. Now, also, the Sadducees were very protective of their position, and so they did not want anybody who was not part of their clan to get any power. They were very strong in Jerusalem because the temple was there. And so they looked askance at anybody from any area other than Jerusalem itself of the Levite line who wanted to engage in any way with the people. And that's why they were so in contrast and always in conflict with the Pharisees. We'll talk about the Pharisees tomorrow. Let me just show you one example of an interaction with Jesus and the Sadducees that makes so much sense once you understand the Sadducees. In Matthew 22, the Sadducees were trying to trick Jesus. The Bible says that. It says it straight out. And you even know from how this happened why it was obviously a trick and not a genuine question. These people who did not believe in an afterlife, did not believe in resurrection, posed a question to Christ. They said, if there was a woman and she married a man and then he died, so she married his brother, and this happened repetitively so that over the course of her life she had 7 brothers as husbands, whose wife is she in the afterlife? Well, clearly they didn't even believe in an afterlife, so it was a rigged up question. Jesus gave them a double whammy. Read Matthew 22. He not only told them that they were wrong because there is an afterlife, but he also said that they were asking a kind of a stupid question because people are like angels in the afterlife. They do not marry. So they didn't believe in angels either. So he gave them a double whammy. The Bible even says that the Pharisees were rather excited because they did believe in those things when they heard that Jesus had whacked down the Sadducees. Not that it made them loyal to Jesus, as we know, but they were glad to see their political enemy whacked down, at least temporarily. When you understand the view and the ideas and the entitlement of the Sadducees, Jesus' interactions with them and exactly what they say and the topics on which they engage make perfect sense. Tomorrow, join me. We're going to look at the Pharisees, the people's extremists, and see how Jesus reacted with them. I'm J. Lenora Bressler. Visit me tomorrow on the next edition of The Bible. Delight in the details. Have a great day.